Good morning, beautiful people. So, I just had a really beautiful morning, waking up with a lot of heaviness and stuff coming up, just breathing and taking care of myself and crying and just going in more and more. And that led me to wanting to do like a little meditation or a little invitation to allow yourself to crack, to allow yourself to open. And what I notice in myself that when I do anything that is like for the heart, opening the heart, it can feel like waves. It's not like this straight line. It's waves of like crying, and then love fills, and then another wave comes, and like the pain can be more intense and then less intense, and there can be like memories coming up or things coming up, and just allowing that to be. And as you're allowing that to be, you're gently slowly beginning to see it in another way. You're beginning to see it from a more real lens than the lens of the wound itself. So, yeah, I just wanted to come on and make a meditation, an invitation to come into your heart and allow yourself to crack, to open, to release, to invite. So that's what we'll do. And I would like to invite you to just find a comfortable position for yourself, whatever that is, sitting, laying, standing, whatever fits you, whatever feels right, so that your senses can become a little more whole instead of being so dependent on your sight. But if that doesn't work for you, you know best. So just listen to yourself. And begin to breathe and drop into your body. And as you drop, breathe into your heart to tune into your heart space. And tune into your feelings, your emotions, tune into what's going on around your heart. Feel the back of your heart. Feel the front of your heart. Feel what's going on beneath your heart and above your heart. Just circle around in your heart in whatever way feels right. Notice how your heart is feeling. Notice if it feels open or closed, or if it feels heavy or light. Just notice how your heart is today, right now. And just allow it to be. Feel into any judgments, any resentment, any triggers, any hurt, any pain that you have felt recently or that you're feeling now in your heart. And give it space to be there, give it space to talk to you, to communicate with you. And breathe into this emotions, these feelings in your heart. Breathe into any resentment, any triggers, any pain, any hurt. Just breathe into it. Trust it. All these parts of you need your love. They need you to be there for them. So just stay present in the best way that you can. And the discomfort you might feel is not a sign of weakness or that something is wrong. It is just your heart cracking. We are conditioned into so many illusions of how we should be, how the world should be, what love is, what patience is. We have so many ideas that become these mental blocks from just experiencing what is as it is. The discomfort is just your ego cracking, those mental blocks cracking, those illusions cracking. And that can hurt, that can feel painful, uncomfortable. And sometimes our mind doesn't know what to do with it, and it becomes confused with all of these feelings. And it becomes confused as all of these illusions are just melting and cracking and shattering. So just stay with that, just observe that. Hold space for yourself in the cracking, in the pain. And then I would like to invite you to imagine yourself as this rosebud, this closed rosebud. How you're just tightly closed. And really feel yourself as this closed rosebud. Really connect with that feeling. And feel how the tightness of that rosebud is like the pressure, the control, the holding on, the gripping, and like the whole process of just shattering, of dying, of releasing, like that tightness, that tension. Just feel that tension. And breathe into that tension, breathe into that process of just shattering, that process of the push and pull and the fighting. Breathe into that. And then feel a sense of surrender, a sense of just surrendering to that process, to that pain, to that confusion, to that tension. Just feel the surrender. And as you feel the surrender, feel how this rosebud is beginning to open up, how it's starting to just open, crack, release. And with this release, it can come up grief and pain and anger and hurt, but it's no longer this tight feeling. It feels a little bit, just a little bit more open, a little bit more allowed, just a little bit more open. Whatever your body needs to do, whatever way of releasing comes to you, if it's crying or screaming or shaking, whatever feeling is coming up in your body, trust that. Don't force it, but if it comes naturally, just allow it. And then stay with that wave, stay riding that wave, stay with the going in, stay with yourself as the cracking begun, the surrendering begun. And if you at any point feel this need or this want to just run into your thoughts, or you wander into your mind, or feel like you just want to escape or run away from what is going on inside of you, in your heart and your being, as you're cracking, just bring yourself back very gently, very slowly, with compassion and understanding towards this part that wants to escape, that wants to run, just with love and gentleness. Bring yourself back to your breath, to your heart, to this image of the rose. And feel how the petals are just very gently. One petal is just opening. And feel the cracking, feel the opening, feel the surrender. Feel all that it's bringing up, and how it feels to just right now, without knowing what will come in the next minute, the next second, just riding the wave as it is, allowing petal by petal to just open, to crack you open. And then feel how through the petals that are open right now, don't rush this process, just allow them to open in their own time. Feel how there is light slipping in through the cracks, love slipping in through the cracks, filling up all these places that feel wounded, that feel hurt, that feel unlovable, that feel unworthy, that feel not enough or too much, that feel like there might be something wrong, or that it's not safe to be in the body, it's not safe to feel all of this. Just allow this love to feel, come slipping through these cracks. How the petals are just slipping in light and love. There's no need to get rid of any pain or hurt. As this light is slipping in, just allow that to stay as long as it wants to stay. And keep opening your petals in the time that they want to open, one by one, cracking. And if there are waves of emotions, waves of releasing, stay with that, trust that. Allow yourself to go as deeply as your heart craves. And just think of yourself as this courageous rose opening up to the world, not knowing what will come. Letting love slip in through those cracks. Keep breathing into your heart, keep breathing into whatever is happening. If you feel love and space opening up inside of you, trust that. And if there is resistance or fear trying to fill that space, just breathe into it, just allow it. Allow it to be there as the crackling is continuing, as the surrender is continuing. Petal by petal, surrendering, allowing, cracking. And allow more love to just flow through these cracks. Just allow more love. Surrender to it. Open more and more. Just open. Soften. Allow. Surrender. And feel yourself opening more and more fully. How you're just open, vulnerable, raw. How the beauty of this rose, the open rose, the scent, comes out of the cracking, comes out of the surrender, comes out of the allowing. Just being with the raw experience you're having, the truth. And feel yourself as this open rose, this open, vulnerable rose. How love is just slipping through it. And how through all of that cracking, love is what it is as its core, as its very essence. At the very core, it's always love. Keep breathing into your heart. Keep seeing yourself as this rose. Really connect to the feeling of it. The feeling of this rose cracked open, vulnerable. The feeling of surrender. Breathe into that. Surrender into that. Allow that. Even if it's messy, even if it's painful, even if it's confusing, surrender into all of it. Cracked open. Letting love slip in to all those places that feel most unlovable, that feel most abandoned, that feel most rejected. Surrender to them. Let them crack, let them open. And trust that whatever you experience is right for you. However deep you're going is right for you. Trust what is happening, trust what's not happening, just trust your experience as it is. Trust your own unfolding, your own cracking. Trust that what is given to you right now is exactly as much as you can handle, exactly what needs your attention most. Just trust yourself. And just keep coming back to the image of the rose, keep coming back to that feeling. Keep breathing. Begin to just gently, slowly bring yourself back. You can just keep this rose, this image, this feeling, and just allow the cracking to go on. You can just keep breathing into your heart as often as you need throughout your day, just throughout your week and your months and your years. Just how often as you need, you can just return to your heart. You can just return to allow it to be there with you, allow it to keep going on in the the rhythm and the tempo and the beat that it wants and needs. Feel the surface that is holding your body. Feel the temperature of the room. And just feel yourself. And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes. Welcome back. You can just feel yourself coming back more with moving your body a little. I like to do this like circles and just come back and feel like my spine is just spiraling and awakening and grounding into now. So if you feel called to share your experience, I would love to witness you and see you and just feel you. So feel more than free to just share what your experience was. And I actually felt like I want to do a little bit of tapping for resistance and tension and just this tension. And I'm just going to give you a little basic of tapping in case you are new to it and don't know what the points are and like what tapping is. So tapping is EFT tapping, emotional freedom technique. It's a way of tapping on acupressure points on your body and like on your face and your body, and allowing yourself to give a voice to what's going on inside of you, and that brings a sense of release as you're doing it, as you're giving yourself space to tap, to voice what is true for you. And you always begin at the side of the hand, and you start with an even though statement. So even though I'm feeling resistance, I'm honoring how I feel. And then you have eyebrow, side of the eye, under the eye, under nose, chin, like under your lip, and collarbone. And you can do one hand, two hands, whole palm, whatever feels right to you. And then under your arm, like where your bra strap would be if you wear a bra, if you're a woman, and then top of your head. And those are the points I'm going to be using and addressing, but there are also other points like wrist point and like point here between your pinky and your ring finger, and there's another part. It's like on the nipple for men, and like for women, you have to kind of move your boobie and get under there to to put pressure on those points. So I'm going to start with the side of the head as usual and just keep on moving from there. And I'm going to give you space to fill in blanks with your own experience so that you can get your own words out and your own experience out. And that's when tapping is best and most efficient, when you actually use your own words and you just voice what is happening for you, like you have your own experience with it. So let's begin. So starting at the side of the hand. Even though I'm feeling all of this resistance in my body, I honor all of these feelings. And I begin to just accepting more and more of it. Still at the side of the hand, even though I feel all this tension, all this resistance, all this discomfort, I honor and accept all that I am and all that I'm feeling. Even though I don't want things to be this way, I don't want to feel this, I don't want to feel this way, I allow myself to soften just a little and honor what I'm feeling. And then eyebrow, all this resistance, side of the eye, I feel it in my, and you feel in the black. Under eye, I don't want to feel this way. Under nose, I don't want things to be this way. Under or chin point, I wish things were a different way. Collarbone, I feel like things should be a different way. Underarm, I have another idea of where I should be, and I feel all this resistance. Top of the head, I don't want to feel this way. Eyebrow, this resistance is showing up as, fill in the blank, fill in your words here. Side of the eye, and I feel the resistance in my under eye, all this tension. Under nose, all this resistance. Chin, I feel it in my body. Collarbone, and parts of me wish that things would be different. Underarm, parts of me wish that things wouldn't be like they are. Top of the head, and that creates even more resistance. Eyebrow, and that resistance might be creating stress and confusion in my mind and my body. Side of the eye, and even with this resistance, under eye. I begin to accept what is going on under nose. I begin to accept that there is another way. Chin. I begin accept things as they are. Collarbone. I begin to trust myself where I am at. Underarm. And I trust and allow this resistance. Top of the head. I allow myself to stop resisting resistance. Eyebrow. I allow myself to soften more and more. Side of the eye. I allow this tension and resistance. Under eye. I allow myself to be where I am. Under nose. I allow myself to feel what I'm feeling. Chin. I allow myself to think what I'm thinking. Collarbone. I allow myself to be where I am. Underarm. I accept this resistance. Top of the head. I allow and accept all this tension and resistance. And I trust that where I am right now is exactly where I should be. And you can stop tapping. Take some breaths, feel into your body. And just come back when you feel like coming back. Yeah, just so often we get stuck in these ideas of how things should be and how we should feel, and we have these mental pictures of like these images and these like just illusions of what should be, how things will be, and we just push and strive and control. And we are so conditioned to do things this way. This is how we were taught to do things by like every system that we were raised in, like by everything, the punishment and reward system that we were raised in, that you do something good, you get good, you do something bad, you get bad, by schools, by kindergartens, by jobs, by just life as we have lived it. We are so conditioned to just see things a certain way, and be very stuck in that way, have very black and white thinking. And that creates resistance to our experience as it is, because we feel like things should be another way, or like there's something wrong with how we're feeling, there's something wrong with what we are experiencing. And that creates more suffering and more pain and more discomfort. So just practicing surrender, practicing allowing, helps us with life, with just accepting life as it is, accepting ourselves as we are, without getting lost in the suffering of the mind and the ideas that our mind has. Because, like, newsflash, our mind is not us, we are not our thinking, we are not our mind. And our mind is just this beautiful tool, but we have given us this very important role that it's taken very seriously. And it's just creating more suffering and creating more confusion and creating more judgment and just separation. Because our mind is like this computer who separates and puts things into boxes. And when we're living out of that, we're constantly judging and separating ourselves from things and from people. And that creates suffering, because in reality, everything is a part of us, everything is mirroring something to us, and we are not separate from the world around us. And like having a mental concept of this is one thing, but actually experiencing this is another. So I can talk about this for like as long as I want, but if you don't have an experience of this, what I'm saying is just, it has no meaning to you, because you're living in your mind and you have a mental understanding of what I'm saying, which is a start. But having an experience is just a whole nother thing. And it's there are tons of ways to practice this. Like, I personally believe that the biggest one is shadow work and inner child work, like any type of inner work that just brings all these pieces of you that are fragmented and that are feeling separate and rejected and abandoned, and it just brings them back home and cracks through those illusions and cracks through this idea of separation. So for me, like, number one is inner work, shadow work, inner child work, self-love, just really going deep inside yourself, and also connecting with nature, connecting with your heart, with your womb, connecting with yourself, meditating, just being aware of the world around you, feeling connected to the world, putting your hands on a tree and just feeling that tree with your heart, feeling yourself as that tree, so that you remove those blindfolds of separation. And yeah, that is what I had to share. That is what I had to offer today, this beautiful morning. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for doing this, allowing yourself, surrendering to this experience, to yourself, to your feelings, to your emotions, to yourself as you are. Sending you so much love and support and acceptance on your day.